Hey, good evening all. This is DF Digger. Just want to hope everybody's safe. Maine is open for metal detecting though. Reason why I start out with that is yesterday one of the news centers in the state had put out the worst part of the governor's speech about staying inside, not having any contact with anybody. I called them out on that on their YouTube page, and for a minute there they disabled the comments, and after about 10-15 minutes they brought it back up. I told them the truth, and I don't know, I guess I had to check on it, but today they came out with another post or video, and it told the good part of the speech too, where the governor said, you know, go out, go hiking, walk your dogs, go fishing. Everybody, you just need to be socially responsible, and that brings you kind of to the river up here. If you guys want to come up and hunt, if you feel that you want to, there's over 5 miles of river that I've hunted so far, and the river's 150 feet wide. You could fit a lot of people on this river and probably not even see each other throughout the day. There's that much space. I have 3 accesses that belong to the town that you have access to the river. There's ample parking, so there's no reason for people to be gangled up. You can all wave and shout to each other if you're in the parking lot. Post your finds. If whatever you guys find, post them. We'll still be able to enjoy seeing them. But that brings me to the video I'm doing tonight. This is kind of like a PSA on the river levels and stuff. I want everybody to be safe up here if you do travel up. And what I'm going to be showing you is the DoverFoxcroft's water database. And I believe probably all rivers in the state of Maine have this gauge somewhere on the river, and you should be able to look up the river that if you want to go hunt one that you're close by, you can look this gauge up and you can judge that. So if you have to travel a little bit, or if you just want to look at it from home, you say, well, yeah, the water's down, so I can go metal detecting. I just found this site last year at the end of the season, so I really hadn't been able to coordinate much with it. You can set specific dates on it. There's over 100 years worth of data that's stored in this, so it's a great tool if you want to do some river hunting. What I'm going to do is turn you around. This is actually take 3 of this. I'm hoping the video comes out better on this one. I'm using my GoPro and it doesn't like the screen all that much, but I'll try to get you guys in there close enough so you can see everything, and I'll just give you a brief tutorial about it. Alright, here we go. Now let me pull you back just a little bit. I know you're probably not going to be able to see the numbers the greatest. Let me pull you up here. Alright. Go up to the top here. I'll post the link to this site in the information on down below, and yeah, it's got over 100 years of stream gauge records. Let's scroll up here. I'll give you the water temperature, the air temperature, the discharge, that's in cubic feet, and it will also give you the gauge height, which is footage, actual footage. Over here you can set the date, so if you want to go back to a certain date. This date here I happen to choose is from August 16th, 2019 to September 27th, 2019. Last year we had surveys on the bridges here and up in Guilford, and they had the river lowered for a bit. And when you go back in time, they're only going to give you the gauge, and they're going to give you the discharge. So this is a discharge up here, and this is per cubic feet. That's 100, 200, 300, 400. Back on the 16th, it was down I'd say probably somewhere's around 30, somewhere's in that area. And right here, this is the actual footage. So on the 16th, we were setting at probably right around 1.7, and then over the next day we had some rain, and you can see how that rose that up from 1.7 up to almost 3. And then we had a little bit more rain, and then it died back out, and this is when I was able to get back out detecting again. Now where you see this spike here, this here was when they released the dams after they were done the surveys, and this is more the settled height. You were still able to get out and do a little bit of hunting, but it was a little bit harder. Right at this peak, I went out the next day, and then after that it just kind of got even higher. Now I did go out March 12th this year, and that was settling right at about 2.8 feet. And then we had that snow that we had a few days ago, and that rose the river up in the precipitation over the next few days. Now this large increase right here, this is the rain that we've been getting today, and we started getting it here, and this spike here is the runoff from coming down from up north. And this level right here, that will kill you. Probably around 4 feet would be very dangerous. Let me show you a picture here. Okay, this is the pond area, and this was back on the 16th of last year. This rock that my mouse is around right now, that's the marker rock that I usually use. If you can see at least half of that rock, it's safe to be in the river. You can hunt in it. It's fairly enjoyable. If you're seeing less than half or none of that rock, you shouldn't even be in the river trying to do this. That's really high at that point. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, so I'm going to show you a few pictures to kind of give you perspective of this river. So this is Eel Rock right here, my marker rock, and you can see where the normal on this rock over here, where the normal water level is and how far it had dropped. That's over a foot that's dropped there. And you can see all of these boulders out here. Normally when the water's up to here, a lot of these boulders are underwater. Let me show you another picture here. This is the island, which was just upstream from that last picture, but this here is all, if it's this low, then yeah, there's a lot of good area to hunt in here. But normally the water is up closer to this island. And that same time last year, when they had the river down, this is up above the falls, in between the two falls, and this is extremely dry. These are rarity years. This is only because they blocked up the river to do the surveys. You can see along the grass area, this is where the normal height is, and they dropped this whole thing down almost 4 to 5 feet to do that. But normally you can't get up into this area, except if they're doing surveys or any type of repairs. They'll never have this closed off like this. Now let me get out of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Google Earth, and I'm going to kind of give you a perspective of what we were just looking at. Turn this south so it's a little bit easier. Okay. Now this is Browns Mills Park. You would come in down off the Essex Street Bridge over here, and you'd come over to the park. There's a upper parking lot, lower parking lot. This is where you can, this little spot down here is where you can unload canoes or kayaks, and then you just park back up in these parking lots. But those pictures that you just saw of the island, I was taking those pictures right from this spot here, right in front of this big rock. And what you're seeing here is just about the normal water height, where you're not seeing a lot of that sand that was out in that picture. And same way over here, all those big boulders that you saw, This is the old rock, and this is that big boulder that was sitting right behind it. But all those boulders that you saw, this is what you normally would see. The only, sparse ones sticking here out. It can get very treacherous walking up through here. That's why you don't see a lot of my finds on this side. It's just very hard to walk in. Let's see, a good tip when you get it into the water, walk out into the water, pick a spot, and then just start walking downstream. Try to just pick a line. It's not going to be a perfect line because you're going to have deep spots, you're going to have boulders, but just try to pick a line, interweaving around things. 2 reasons. When you're going downstream, it's easier to keep your coil planed right, so it's not twerking left or right or up or down. If you try going laterally across the river, your coil is always going to be doing this. If you try going upstream, your coil, the front of it's always going to be doing this. And that takes a lot of strength to do that. You'll feel it in your arms real quick if you're going upstream or laterally. Unless it's a dead water area, and then it's not too bad. But yeah, just pick a spot in the river and just walk downstream. You can get out on shore and walk up the trail from Brown's Mills, any of these spots here. Yeah, my throat's getting a little dry talking too much. But yeah, I just want this all to be safe for everybody. Right now, the water has spiked pretty well. If I open up a new app, so this would be like if you guys are opening up the app. Open it up, you have your places that you've picked, and it will give you instant data of what it's at right this second. We'll see, Celsius we're looking at, oh, I don't know how to read that. I do Fahrenheit. So right now we're at about 42 degrees for the air temperature right now on this side. I'm going to scoot down here to the discharge. March 12th, when I went into the water there a few weeks ago, it was down to here. When we had that snow brought it up to here. On the 12th, we were looking at probably about, maybe 400 feet of cubic feet per second coming down. With the snowfall, it brought it up to 1,000. Started to decrease a little bit, and then with that rain, that's brought it up well over 2,000 cubic feet. Like I said, that will kill you, folks. Don't come up here and try getting into this river if there's any water like that. This summer, or whenever the time comes that I can get down in the water and I can actually look down in the water and say, okay, this is between my knees and my ankles, I can come back here and I'll be able to get you guys a footage that's a safe time to be in the water. What I'm going to do also is I may start posting this river gauge here for DoverFoxcroft daily on the 2 main Facebook websites. That way there you guys can check them out daily, or like I said, upload it on your phone and you have instant access that way as well. But alright, other than that, folks, I think that might be it of me babbling tonight. My throat's getting a little hoarse, so you all be safe. Try to get out if you can. Keep your social distancing, and happy hunting. Alright, DF Digger out.